Yes, good afternoon, class. This is our next lesson. Before we go to our lesson for today, last time I gave you a number, and that one was talking about reasons. I gave you 3 terms, or the treaties which we used to end slave trade. The first one we talked of the Morasby Treaty, the Hamilton Treaty, and we talked of the Freya Treaty. Now, all those treaties were signed in order to stop slave trade. And I gave you why one treaty was signed. The purpose, all those treaties were signed in order to stop slave trade. So today, we are going to begin with a spelling game, and I have some words you are going to spell. So you should be ready with your pen and a book. Are you ready, children? Okay, I can see you are ready. Our first word is abolish. Are you there? Are you finished? The second one is abolition. Yes, the third one is industrial. Then the fourth one is revolution. Then the last one is legitimate. So those are our words for today. I hope everyone has finished. Now I want you to get a pencil, and I'm going to give you those words with their correct spellings. If yours is correct, please you tick. If yours is wrong, don't cheat yourself by writing a letter which is not there, but cross it and write the correct one. So, I'm going to give you those words. I hope everybody have you exchanged your books? Okay, let us move. So our words are there. Now our first word is abolish. Write it well. If yours is wrong, please cross. Whether it's one letter missing, please cross it and write the correct one. The second one is abolition. All the letters are there. The third one is industrial. Then the next one is revolution. And the last one is legitimate. If you are finished marking for your friend, please award the marks. If it is 5 out of 5, you can write 5 out of 5, 0 out of 5, put 0 out of 5, and make sure that you have written the correct spelling. So that's our spelling game for today. We are going to move to the next step, whereby we are going to see the meaning of those words. Let us see those words, what they mean by abolish, abolition, industrial, and revolution. And now when we are going to look at that, we shall look at what is there. So, here we have meaning of terms. Which terms you already have in your book? The first one is abolish. The word abolish means to end something from happening, or to stop something from happening. It might be something good, or it might be bad. You know, when you're doing something, there are things which are good to you, but they might be bad to another person. So when you look at the word abolition, it means end something from happening, or to stop something from happening. That is the word abolition. Then we move. Here we talk of the word abolition, but we want to look at with other words, that is abolition of slave trade, which was the evil act which was carried out in Africa. Now here we are saying abolition of slave trade means the systematic way in which slave trade was brought to an end. Meaning that stopping slave trade from happening. It was a good act to those people who were participating in it. And those people who were taken as slaves, it was a bad act. So that's the meaning of the word abolition of slave trade. Now, our next word is industrial revolution. Industrial revolution means that was the period in Europe, more so in Britain, when industries expanded and developed. That's what we mean by industrial revolution. That was the period when industries expanded and developed in Europe. And more so, it was those industries were majorly developing in Britain. During the time of slave trade, the slaves were taken from Africa to America. From America, they were also taken to Europe. Then from Europe, they were bringing finished goods. When the slaves were taken from Africa to America, they were taken to work in the plantations, the mines, to work in people's homes, and whatever was produced in America, like sugarcane, like tobacco, like tea, it was taken to Britain. Why? They were taken, those raw materials were taken to Britain simply because Britain, by that time, at least they had industries which could process those raw materials, which means America never had the industry which could process those raw materials. So, then we move to the next one, that is legitimate trade, means dealing or trading in accepted goods. Meaning that during the time of slave trade in Africa, it was not acceptable for people to be taken. It was something which was forceful. They were captured, they were arrested. Some African rulers could sell their domestic workers as slaves because African rulers wanted to get some goods from the whites, from the Arabs, but they had no way of getting them apart from exchanging with the people who were arrested. So, these are our terms. Then we want to move to the next part. Here we are having reasons why slave trade was abolished. In other words, we mean reasons why slave trade was stopped. 1. Slave trade was inhuman, meaning that it was not a good act for human beings. The way slaves, the way people were treated in Africa, they were treated as if they were not human beings. Those Arab traders who came to Africa looking for the slaves, they were taking Africans as if they were not human beings. They were not kind to Africans. Because anybody who was arrested as a slave, there was no sympathy. They were not treating them as if they were also human beings like them. But only that, the only difference was that their color was different from that of the Africans. That was the only difference. But when you talk of in terms of blood, still the same blood, but they were not so kind to the Africans, and they had no pity for the Africans. So that's why it was called slave trade was inhuman. Then too, another reason, we have religious leaders preached against it, meaning that the church leaders went to talk about slave trade in the church, teaching the people who were in churches. And it was not only in Africa. This thing of talking about slave trade started in Europe. In European churches, they started preaching against slave trade in the churches. That's why you find out that some people who came to Africa, like a man like Dr. David Livingstone, when he saw how people were suffering in Africa, went back to Britain, went to the university, he preached, he talked to the teachers, to the people who were in that university to come to Africa to help Africans to end a slave trade. Therefore, it spread to the religious leaders. They were talking about it. It was a bad act during that time. Then the other one, there was a man known as Sir Wilberforce who worked hard to make sure that slave trade was brought to an end. And Sir Wilberforce was one of the leaders in the world who worked hard to stop slave trade. Therefore, he was the one who spearheaded the end of slave trade in the world. So these are some of the reasons why slave trade was brought to an end, or why it stopped. Then we move. Now, when you look at these pictures, these are human beings. But these human beings, they were tied as they were moving. You can see the sticks, and they were tied. That's why we say that it was inhuman. These people were treated as if they were not human beings. You move, they have tied your leg, they put the two sticks, and they tie, so that as you are moving, there is no way you can run. So it was a bad act. And on top of that, these people were moving while carrying some goods. And were they their goods, or it was for the slave masters? It was for the slave masters. But they were given to carry those goods. That's why you see the person in front here was carrying items which belong to one of the slave masters. So that's why it was not a good act. Now, you can ask a question. What happened to someone? For example, you get tired and you cannot walk. You were beaten. If you die from there, they leave you there. They continue with those ones who were so strong. You find out that a woman is here, and there is also a young one. So it was not a good act. But this kind of movement reduced after some time. We shall look at what happened, what made brought changes so that human beings were no longer used to carry goods. Now, here we have ways in which slave trade was abolished. How was slave trade stopped in Africa? There were several ways they were using to end slave trade. One was use of military force, meaning that the slave masters, the people who were carrying out slaves, were forced to end it forcibly. They were not willing to end it. Even African rulers, African kings, they were very happy with it, and they never wanted it to stop. But with the help of the other man, I told you that was Sir Wilberforce, who worked hard to stop slave trade. So there were some people who were employed so that they make sure that that act was brought to an end. Another one, we have two. We have signing treaties to end it, meaning that treaties were signed in order to end slave trade. But when they signed the first treaty, that was in 1822, another treaty was signed after so many years, more than 15 years. So these were the attempts in order to stop slave trade. Another one was that using Christian missionaries. And how were they using the Christian missionaries? The Christian missionaries, using Christian missionaries, they were used to preach against slave trade. And it was one way it helped to end slave trade in Africa, because the Christian missionaries started preaching against slave trade. So people realized that it was a bad act. It was not necessary to be carried out in Africa. Then we have passing a law against it. So the law was passed, meaning that when the law was passed, the people were carrying out slave trade. Like in East Africa, they signed the agreements. But the Sultan of Zanzibar could not stop, because the first agreement was signed. When the first agreement was signed, in that agreement, it is stated that no selling slaves to any country in the world. The Sultan also changed. Since the Christian missionaries, since the Europeans stopped them from doing that, they said, let us continue with the slave trade, but we are only selling slaves only to Asian countries or in Saudi Arabia and those countries in the Middle East. They were no longer dealing with European countries. So it continued. So passing a law against it also, it was in a way that it was by force that all slave markets were all closed, meaning that Zanzibar, which was a slave market, in East Africa, Tabora, Kilwa, and others were all closed because the law was passed against it. Then promoting legitimate trade, meaning that since they introduced legitimate trade, it was an act of dealing with the accepted goods, which countries in the world were happy with it. There was no torturing of human beings, not like this one of selling human beings. So this one was another way of abolishing slave trade. Then the other one was constructing transport and communication lines. When they constructed the Uganda Railway, it helped to stop slave trade. we shall see within a short time the railway line and the train. So, we have a train. These are the trains of long ago, not like the trains of these days which are in Europe. They are different from the old trains. Now, this one here, the construction of the Uganda Railway helped to stop slave trade. And this one was one of the transport lines which was constructed in East Africa. How did the construction of the Uganda Railway help to end slave trade? That's the question. And the answer you can give for this one is that trains were used to carry goods instead of slaves. Meaning that the other act of using human beings to carry goods was stopped because trains could carry many goods compared to what human beings could carry from Uganda to the East African coast. And also, the movement of trains was more faster than human beings to the East African coast. Then, we also have communication lines, meaning that these are poles. Don't look at these ones as if they are a cross where Jesus was crucified. These are telephone poles. It's only that it is not so clear, but the wires were connecting from this pole to this pole to this one up to the last pole. Meaning that this one reduced people from moving from one place to another, sending messages or taking messages, but they were now using post office because these ones were connected up to the post office. So those days, it is not like these days where we have mobile phones. Those days, if you wanted to communicate, you go to the post office and make a call. So it was a long distance. If you have the post office was not near your home, you have to move or you have to ride a bicycle up to the post office. Not like these days whereby we are having mobile phones which we can use for communication. So this one also helped to stop slave trade because those days the rulers would send people for a long distance to take a message. So that one also helped to stop slave trade. Now I want to say what challenges these people faced in order to stop slave trade. And who were these people? One of them we have Sir William Wilberforce. So Sir William Wilberforce was one of the people who worked hard to stop slave trade. Now, when you look at Sir William Wilberforce, you should differentiate Sir William Wilberforce with George William Kakoma. That one is different. Then we have Wilberforce Nadiope. It's also different from Sir William Wilberforce. Then we have the other one, Sir William Mackinnon. Those are different personalities and they play different roles in the history of Africa. So, one way the challenges they faced, they lacked manpower, or there was shortage of money, power. There were not many to end slave trade. Since the slave trade spread in many parts in the world, so it was hard. The people were employed to do that, to end it, they were very few. So therefore, there was shortage of manpower. Then slave trade was widely spread. That's why it was hard to end it very fast, because it had occupied very many parts in the world. Then there was a high demand for slaves in the world, meaning that countries like America, countries like Britain, and others Saudi Arabia, you talk of Zanzibar, there was a need to use slaves, meaning that that was a free labor which was not paid. It was not paid. So people were struggling to get people to work in their farms, like in plantations, tea farms, in the mines, in their homes. So it was really very hard to stop slave trade, and it was hard. Then the other ones, African rulers were reluctant to end it, meaning that African chiefs and kings were happy with the slave trade. They never wanted slave trade to come to an end, because they were getting, it was one way, they were getting goods from the Arab traders. Some of them were kings, they wanted guns, but they had no way of getting guns apart from exchanging guns with African slaves. Then some European countries were not cooperative to end it. That's why it was very hard. However much Britain tried its best to convince other countries to stop slave trade, but others were not willing to stop the use of slaves in their world. As we are about to summarize, we look at reasons why slave trade led to colonization of Africa. How did slave trade attract another group of foreigners, and those were the colonialists? Colonialists are sometimes known as administrators. So, this one here, the colonists wanted to protect the natives against slave trade. That's one way. The colonists were so tricky. So people saw that they were really very good people, because they had come to stop slave trade. And yet, they are stopping slave trade. They brought another trouble to the Africans. Because now when the colonists came to Africa, Africans were mistreated. They were not taken to other countries, but they were mistreated in their own land. For example, you look at the Kenya Highlands, which the whites grabbed from the fellow Africans. The Kikuyu lost their land to the whites. So, let us look at people who participated in the abolition of slave trade. I mentioned Sir William Wilberforce. That one was the topmost man who worked hard to stop slave trade. Then other people joined, like Adam Smith was from Scotland, and Adam Smith wrote a book entitled Wealth of Nations. And in that book, he wrote that a paid worker works better than a slave. So he was also among the people who worked hard to stop slave trade. Then we have others down here, like we have this one here, Abraham Lincoln. This one was one of the leaders of USA some time back. So these were some of the people who worked hard to stop slave trade. But there is a question, you may say, even Sir Samuel Becker worked to stop slave trade. It is true, Sir Samuel Becker only stopped slave trade in northern Uganda when he was a governor of Equatorial Province. Then when the second governor took over and the last one, there were problems, which means he did not end it well. It resumed. So that's why I've not included Sir Samuel Becker here. So you can see this photograph. We have the photograph of this man, Abraham Lincoln, one of the people who worked hard to stop slave trade. William Wilberforce, who also worked hard to stop slave trade. And these ones were all outsiders who worked hard, who saw how it was not good to continue with slave trade. So, one of the European explorers, that was Dr. David Livingstone, who is here, was among the major European explorers who worked hard to stop slave trade. Dr. David Livingstone was not an explorer alone. He was also a missionary. He was a doctor. And this man loved Africans so much. That's why Dr. David Livingstone died in Africa. He died in a country today known as Zambia, in a village known as Chitambos. When he died, what happened? What happened to his dead body? Was the body buried in Africa, or it was taken? His body was not buried in Africa, but he had his people whom he was working with, who helped to carry his body up the East African coast. From the East African coast, the body was taken to Westminster Abbey, London, where they buried important people in Britain who have done a lot for their country. So we shall look at Dr. David Livingstone later, but was one of the major European explorers who worked hard to stop slave trade. Because when he came to Africa, Central Africa, he saw how people were treated. He went back to Britain and started preaching the gospel. Ways of ending slave trade. Then we have our notes here. Still, abolitionists are people who worked hard to stop slave trade in Africa, like Abraham Lincoln, like Sir Wilberforce, and many others. Then we have anti-slavery movement was the official aim of transporting slaves from one country to another. So, Sir Wilberforce was the leader of anti-slavery movement in the world. So he worked hard to make sure that slave trade was brought an end. So we have here Sir Wilberforce was the leader of the anti-slavery movement in the world. Then we have the first country to declare or to end the use of slaves in the world was Britain. So Britain was the first country to declare or to stop the use of slaves in the world. And therefore, it is spread to other countries. So as about end, we have the towns. When slave trade was brought an end, here we have towns for freed slaves in Africa. When slave trade ended, some people who were captured from their villages could not tell where they were arrested from. So that's why some missionaries decided to make sure that at least there should be areas where these people are settled. For example, Bagamoyo was a town. Bagamoyo is a town at the East African coast where freed slaves, those were brought from Saudi Arabia, but they could not locate their villages. They were brought and they were settled in Bagamoyo. Those ones from Zanzibar, they were also settled there. Some from Denver, they were also settled there. Some from Mauritius, they also settled in Bagamoyo. Then in West Africa, there is a town known as Freetown in West Africa. This was a town for freed slaves from Britain in West Africa. Those who were brought from Britain, they were not taken to their respective villages because they could not locate where they were arrested from. So the best was to make sure that all those ones from Britain, they were settled in Freetown and in West Africa. Now, then we have a country in West Africa, which we know that it was not colonized. Now, this country is known as Liberia. This was a country for freed slaves from America. Those who were brought from America, they were settled in Liberia. Now, we shall look at Liberia when we are going to talk about colonialism in Africa. So, this was a town along the East African coast, this one was in West Africa, and this one was a country in West Africa. So, as I wind up, I have some activity here. We have phone numbers, so you can put this down. We only have phone numbers, and I believe all that you'll write in your books. Then we shall go through. With that, I wish you a good day. May God bless you, children.